Welcome to Trading Lounge and the US tech stocks, and starting with the S&P, and we'll also have a look at the NASDAQ as well. So yesterday for Friday, we're expecting a move down to finish off. It did drop a little bit lower than I expected, but the 5-2 was pretty much what we're looking at. Now, there's a couple of, normally I look at all the stocks to get some sort of consensus of what the indices are doing, but I'm really seeing a mixed bag out there. I'm seeing a mixed bag that I could put this, because what I'm expecting at the moment is I'm expecting wave 5 to come up here, then have an ABC pattern across the top here as 1 and 2, and then push up for wave 3. But what I'm seeing with Amazon and Microsoft is the possibility of actually putting wave 1 top in here and dropping this down here somewhere. I have to have a look on the intraday for that, and putting this in over here and bringing this in over here. Now, it's not a fit for all of them, but I do need to, because I look at all the other stocks to get consensus, I'm starting to see quite a mixed bag. So there is the possibility that wave 1 and wave 2 can be in place here for these markets. So it's something that I'll just keep a little bit of an eye on. But in the meantime, all we need to do is pretty much track. We don't have an impulse wave here. An impulse is 5 wave, as you know. We don't quite have 5 waves in here just yet for this. But if we do have 5 waves, then it will confirm that we're going to make a new high above here. So let's just quickly go into the intraday here, onto the 1000, and this is the wave 3, the A, the B, and then coming down for the C wave. Here is wave 1 and 2 here, and then all the way down for wave 3 here, with a nice 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in here now, and 4 here. We talked about going long above this top here, but it just dropped a bit lower than I expected. So yeah, what do you do? Nice 5-way structure down here to finish off wave 5C of 4 here. And as you can see here, we've got this 1 and 2 here, and it's pretty obvious if you've got a bit of an eye for Elliott that we've got wave 3 coming up here, and then we'll have wave 4 and wave 5. So really the next entry needs to be sort of over here on that move there, but I'll just place that there and consider a stop just here for the time being. Now, it does appear that we're going to get 5 waves here, and if we get 5 waves here, that means we're going to get another 5 waves over here. So we don't want to get stopped out in this, and also too that you just never know how far it's going to pull back. I mean, we all look at the 50-60%, and sometimes, like Microsoft, the wave 2 came in right on the 61.8%, and it's a bit sort of bit of magic there. But other times it might be 40%, and it sort of depends on where the previous consolidation was, and what price point that you're at here, and what history was going on, and a few things like that. But we always just count the internal structure to find out where we are. But it's always just good to put this down here, but just be mindful, don't get lost just because I put a target here. I'm reasonably good with Elliott, but I'm like the next person, I get things wrong, and the only way through it all is really to count the waves as they unfold. It's like a surfer being on the wave. You got to be there to get on it. It's hard to put it into theory and look at the future and things. I mean, obviously you can look at the swell and the wind and things, but get close to it, but it's not always perfect. So yeah, it always comes down to the trade setup. So we'll be looking for the first little impulse wave on this side of it. So I won't bore you to death with all of that. Coming over to the NASDAQ, much the same as well, as 1 and 2 and 3, 4 here, and then going up for wave 5 here. So that's how we'll play this out here as well. We don't have 5 waves here. If we do get 5 waves, then we can confirm that this is going to play out. And as I've sort of mentioned coming up here, all of this before, is that sure, we can trade up here, and we've done that, and we can trade up here, and we'll do that. But this is the trade over here, this wave 2 coming back, and this wave 3 coming back up here. Now, how big is this going to be, or how small it is? I think it's just don't get caught in the trap of locking your mind into an opinion about, from me or from somebody else or even yourself. Opinions can just get yourself into trouble. So, like I say, just stay open, stay flexible, and try to follow the data on this. Basically, it was resistance up here, and now it's trying to find support. So it needs to go through that process. If we just go to the intraday on the 20K here rather than the 1K, the 38.2% I was looking for was here, so we dropped below that a little bit. It really extended down. There's a little bit going on towards the end of last week, and yeah, so the main thing here now is that even though I've got it pointing up here, you still have to wait for the evidence, because as I say, we can all be wrong and right, and you don't want to get upset from me pointing this up here. I mean, anger really is just your reaction to somebody else's behavior, so you don't want to get caught up in that sort of stuff. So this, so we're looking for something like this. Now, if we get the 5 waves up here, then we'll get a correction, then we'll get another 5. I can give you that, but I don't know if we got 5 up here yet. Do you know what I mean? That's the thing. So as it currently stands, just this here can be a little A wave, a B wave in here. It's probably not likely, but there's some pretty fast short covering on that situation. But technically, looking at it straight up, is that we do have 5 waves down here. We do have an ABC pattern here, so it is possible for this to come down here. My only sort of saving grace in the pattern is that on the S&P and the NASDAQ, I've got 3 waves here. So these 3 waves are telling me that it's corrective, and this is connected to this as part of the correction. So that's why I'm looking at it like this. But we shall see. Our trade setup will come over here on top of the B wave here as an A, B, and C, or the first impulse wave here, and a little classic trading levels pattern around the 18,500. That's where it will play out there. Okay, over to Apple, and much the same sort of thing here, slightly different, and you could count this differently here as well, and we have looked at it in different ways as well, but we're just looking at it as 1, 2, 3 here. I could put this up to here as well and do a few things, but yeah, I think this is the best count, and we're still looking for that 5th wave up here for wave 1, and then we'll have an ABC back here. So if we go to the intraday here, and 1,000, a little bit messy in here, but hang in there. So we've got from this low here, we've got 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and then the 5th wave up here is really sort of really extended out. That's why you could view it differently, but at the same time, we could look at this as 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 here and rearrange things a little bit as I have on another chart. But the gaps normally occur in the 3rd wave, so I'm just going to stay with this. And the other thing too is I kind of want to tie it into the rest of the markets as well. So here we've been looking at wave 1 and 2 here, and looking to going up to 3, 4, 5. So basically we'll see something like this here play out, and how far this wave 2 here comes back. It's just something we have to work through. So we've got a few positions in here. We'll bring in the stop up here, so we can do that. Could probably bring it up to this point here, but I'll just keep it here for the next session. With Friday closing fairly firm, then that means that the momentum is there for the Monday as well. So we'll start seeing weakness on the Tuesday and Wednesday that will creep in, but otherwise yeah, that's where Apple is. So I mean, you could also go long above that top there if you wanted to, and keep a stop under here. That's for day traders. This video is really about swing trade, just sort of swing trading. So this is why we just sort of look at the intraday on most of it. So Amazon's a little bit different. So we've got wave 3 and 4 here, then 1 and 2 over here. And this is kind of how I'm looking at Microsoft as well here. So it has pulled back beyond its 50-60% here. That's almost like 78.6. That's a 56, so yeah, 78 is a bit lower. Anyway, that's like wave 2, normally sharp and swift and all those sort of things, but it's really quite laborious. And this is why I was talking the other day about a wave 4, bringing this wave 4 over here. But I kind of don't want to do that because it just puts the timing out for, I like to sort of I'm a bit like a cattle dog rounding up the sheep, with these, with the stocks. So I've got to kind of keep them all in roughly the same count there somewhere, because on an intraday basis they kind of move together. So you end up with a few sort of weird looking counts, but I'll just see how this plays out. Obviously, I don't want to go long here because there's too much. There's in this block here. There's too much supply here, too much resistance. So it would really struggle at this point. It would be like if it was going to fail, it would come up to here somewhere and then come back down from that point. So yeah, I didn't mean to use that particular thing, but it could come up to here and fail and come back down and then do something weird, you know what I mean? So I'm not, I can see I don't have a nice clean run at this point with this, so I'll we'll just keep monitoring it. And yeah, I mean, if we were above this supply here, and then I'd happily go up there because all the hard work's done. Okay, Nvidia. So from this wave 4, like all the other markets, we're looking up here for wave 1 up here and then back for wave 2. We're looking up as 1 and 2 here, going all the way up to 3 here and 4 here. That does look a little bit impulsive there. Let me just check on that a bit. Yeah, right. That's 5 waves down. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're probably going to get. Did it cover that gap? Can I just borrow that? Not quite. Okay. Rightio. So I think I had some down here. This is going to throw it out of whack a little bit. But yeah, now that should be. It won't go too far up, I don't think. Just check on this here from wave 2 low to wave 3 here. Yeah, 38's down here on this one. So we could see this come back down. So when those other stocks have got 5 waves up and then they're coming back again, like the what's this, the NASDAQ. So once they've got 5 waves up here and it comes back here, while that's coming back, the Nvidia is the one that's going to, one of them that's going to bring it back. So it's going to be some sort of little thing like this. I'm just going to put it out of timing a little bit, but when you get a big number like this too, it becomes a bit of a magnet, psychologically. So so we've got to be a bit careful about this. I'm not interested in this particular market until we get this wave 2 in. I want this trend here to be rebalanced. It's had its earnings and it's done all of that. We need the dust to settle, and we need to see some other amazing stuff happening. And yeah, so how far this pulls back once again here we'll just put it down as a mystery until we get it sorted out. Until it should, as a wave 2, it should be 5-3-5 structure. So it should be pretty simple to follow. And Meta Platforms here. Yeah, so same thing, wave 4 here, 1, 2, 3, and got to look at this a little bit differently now. I'm going to put that there and look at this as the A, the B, and the C for the B wave up there, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here for that. That seems it's a bit hard to track, but I can see it quite comfortably. Once again, we've got to check to see if we get that 5 waves up to make that impulse wave up here in wave 2, 3, 4, 5, and then this is where we want to be over here for the next trade. If you get the 5 waves here, then the pullback here on the Monday, Tuesday, we could have a bit of a look at it, and we could go for a bit of a journey, because this stock is moving like paint drying in 10 degrees of temperature, so very slow dry. That's that. And Netflix. So I had a little bit of difficulty with this, so I've relabeled a little bit just to bring it in line with the rest of the markets. And you could critique this in different ways, but basically we've got 1 and 2 here, and then I'm going up for wave 3, 4, and 5 here. I mean, it looks like a wave 4 in here, blue wave 4, but it's probably right, but it'll just put it it won't put it in the right timing. But that said, now, because I've got a situation with Microsoft and Amazon, that we can already have wave 1 in here, and we could be looking back for wave 2 here. So basically with this stock here, it doesn't really matter because we've had our trade here, we've taken part profit here, and we've taken profit here. If you're still in there, I've just moved the stop up under here, and you can get out up here. And this will just be a classic trading levels pattern here. If this is true, and we get wave 1 up here, and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 up here, then we're going to get the ABC pattern here. So this is going to be the arrival, the reaction, the first high above the level, the ABC pattern. So it's just a normal standard pattern that we basically look for. And yeah, so this will be here. So we need to be over this side over here for this. So we're here at the moment looking for 5 waves up here. So we're not really interested in any of this. This is where you take the money off the table. This is where you get back in, and this is where you lose money. You make money in corrections, and you lose, and you make money in trends and lose them in corrections. That was a bit of a Freudian slip, because I know when I first sort of started, I'd sort of been trading for a while. I look back and I've been in a big bull market, and for some reason, I've lost money. You know, getting in and getting out and doing this and doing that. So yeah, easier said than done, this game, but a fascinating one in many aspects. So anyway, that's that. So whatever happens here, not interested in it. We need to be over here for this. Okay, so Alphabet, Google. First of all, we brought up the stop here to protect some of these positions here, and we've been looking at 1 and 2 and 3, and it looks like a nice ABC pattern here for wave 4. So I'm just hoping that that we're going to get a little 5 waves up here. Now this particular market's a little bit different in terms of the patterns. Like the other markets were looking for wave 1 here. I think this is going to go through a wave 4, or I've got it wrong. But either way, we'll get the 5 waves up, and then we'll get some type of correction here, and then we'll go up. So we're interested over here. Now, if you're a long-term trader, you know, a trend trader, you know, looking at the weekly trends and all of that, well then you want to keep your stop out of the way here, you know, that's simple as that. But otherwise, we're just swing trading here. So we want to either take, we've got part profit here at this point. So I need to change that really to, unless you're going to stay in there. I mean, it should be pulled up to the 200, you know. I think now that I know where the market is, I'll just drop it back here, and I'll try to navigate that, and we'll try to take part profit up here just to take some heat off. But we should be up here, and that's where we can take some money off the table at that point, because it'll stick around there for a while. Not that one. This one. Okay, so yes, Microsoft had this deep move back. I mean, there's a couple of things here. I mean, I could view this here as, from this top of wave 3 here, as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here for the A wave here, and then an A and a B and a C wave up here, try to work that as a B wave, and then come down for the C wave of wave 4. But my issue with this is it'll just throw me out, because the NASDAQ and the S&P and all that have you know, done their wave 4, so it would throw me all out. But you know, it's there. I've got to kind of acknowledge it. I can't just stick my head in the sand. And yeah, this spike up here makes it a little bit difficult. So what I've done here, I've put wave 1 in here already, and I've done it by looking at this as 1 and 2 here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here for the third wave, fourth wave, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the fifth of 1, and then an A and a B and a C. Now, I don't know if this is just going to, you know, go straight up here. What we could do on an intraday basis is just have a look at this 5-way structure here, and then have a look at the, you know, the little pullback in here, and then we could look to perhaps go into here with a small position, and then we'll look for the next 5, which would be 3, 4, 5 here, and then we can look at this one here, and then move back in over here as well. So we'll get a small position here and a much larger position over this point, because it's come down and there's some other weird patterns in here. I'm worried that we could just get something like this here, you know, some other weird, something weird to come in here. It's just not straightforward here. And like, as I said, I tried to round all the markets up into much the same count, but we've definitely got a mixed bag. It did pull back to the 61.8% taken from that low here to here, so it came back in at the 62%. So we'll see, and it was sharp, and scary and all that sort of stuff. So it's all wave two kind of material. So we'll just see how that plays out. And then we come over to Tesla, and I just have to say I don't know, because I don't know, and I'm not quite sure about it. But what I do understand is that we've had this strong move up here, and the market's held up here quite nicely, and we're in group 2 here. So if we were under group 2 here, under the 165 here, and testing this as resistance, then it'll be weak. But because it's in group 2, it's just really had the arrival, the reaction here, and I can't figure this out here. It's just too damn messy, and I can see that it can be counted in many different ways. I can see it as bullish, I can see it as bearish. It's just a little bit dangerous to be in. I mean, as a whole, for a trend trader, not a problem. You know what I mean? But for a swing trader, it's just not there. You could buy this top here, and if you did that, you could also get trapped in here again as well, because this pattern here can be some sort of A, B here and C here, and then still come down here for a larger pattern and then go up. It's really complicated, and I can't see the light at the end of the tunnel for it. So in that case, I just need to stand aside for a while and wait for something that I can recognize. Alrighty, thanks for tuning in. Cheers.